you are go for station. Houston, Apollo 11 at that end gave us a magnificent ride. I'd like to trace through a little bit for you. Development that has taken place in the food department. In fact, on this flight, we've carried along pieces of bread. Along with the bread, we have a ham spread.
Retro, go. Fido, go. Guys, go. Control, go. Telcom, go. GNC, go. Ecom, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for landing.
Eagle, Houston, you're go for landing, over. Roger, understand, go for landing, 3,000 feet. Roger, 1201 alarm.
1201 alarm.
Same type, we're go, flight. We're go. Same type, we're go. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Now I want to back up and partially close the hatch. Making sure not to lock it on my way out. That's our home for the next couple hours. We want to take good care of it. Beautiful view. Magnificent desolation. Now we'll get to the details of what's around here, but it looks like a collection of just about every variety of shape, angularity, granularity, but every variety of rock you could find.
Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one.
This is Houston. You have approximately 3 minutes until you must commence your EVA termination activity. Over.
Roger, understand.
Tranquility Base, Houston. You're cleared for takeoff.
Roger, understand. We're number 1 on the runway.
We've come to the conclusion that this has been far more than 3 men on a voyage to the moon. more still than the efforts of a government and industry team, more even than the efforts of one nation. We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown.
We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Your Royal Highness, thank you for honoring us with your presence. I would also like to give thanks to my good friend in Los Angeles, the Consul General from Morocco, Abdul Saud, for the encouragement that he gave to me and to the university, which resulted in my trip here. I am really very honored and delighted to be addressing the AUI. The class of 2011, their families, and the university community as a whole. It's a pleasure to be visiting Morocco again, such an important country in the world, with its many contributions to science, space technology, development, and international understanding. Morocco's young people have an incredible opportunity to rise up as leaders of humanity into a new age of exploration, discovery, and global awareness. In these times on Earth, we are seeing people's lives lengthening and medical breakthroughs abounding, but health costs soar out of reach. The curve of innovation and discovery approaches vertical. Yet, stagnation threatens the very health of industry, science, and technology. While superstition and discrimination are in rapid decline, we are still globally terrorized by people who would be at home in the 12th century. And just when we have so refined our habitat that the night glow of our species is seen from space, nature, it seems, now sounds an alarm. In these paradoxic times, it's vital to hold fast to some redeeming vision of the future. Where there is no vision, says the proverb of Solomon, the people perish. Such conflicted times are often the great watersheds in the history of civilization, inflection points that face to a fork in the road. The choice, the new vision will come, not from my generation, but from yours. From fresh perspectives and a pioneering spirit, the great departures of history from single inventions to the rebirth of whole peoples have come from those who are still innocent enough to believe in the perfectibility of man, and bold enough to take the kinds of risks that revitalize the world. In the 40 years since Neil Armstrong and I set foot on the moon, a great deal has been said of the significance of that event. I've come to realize that more than the rocks that we brought back or the experiments that we left, the true value of Apollo is the amazing story of innovation, teamwork, and national determination that went into overcoming all the obstacles to reach the moon. That effort was driven in part by competition and by scientific discovery. And the benefit was worldwide. Everyone on Earth felt as though they had participated in this incredible journey as we landed and walked on another celestial body for the first time in the history of mankind. That feeling of participation in bringing together humanity holds a value beyond measure. I remember it well, sitting with my fellow Apollo crewmates atop the gargantuan Saturn V rocket as the powerful engines lifted us off from the Earth. The 3.5-day journey to the moon culminated in our successful landing, though not without some close calls that could have aborted the mission. Taking those first steps onto the barren landscape of the lunar surface filled me with a sense of pride and awe. Pride in the spirit of innovation and collaboration that brought us to this point. So full of life, when I looked up to see the beautiful view of our home planet, so full of life in the blackness of sky, the world welcomed us back as heroes, and parades and celebrations in 42 countries around the world. Now, as I reflect back on that magical moment in time, one thing stands out in my mind that we had not anticipated. Because our openness engaged people from all over the world, America's success was viewed as a success for all humankind. People from all over the world would declare, "We did it." It is that same spirit of cooperation that we should move forward. In the coming decade, we should exploit the International Space Station's unique capabilities to validate the needed technology and to conduct space life sciences research required for humans to safely explore space. We should open the participation in the International Space Station to other nations who wish to collaborate in this work, paving the way for their involvement in the further international exploration of space. Science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, are the foundations for a successful global economy, and all sorts of things, many unexpected, will come as the result in investing in new pioneering efforts. Space is full of minerals and energy resources that could make a big change in the way we operate here on Earth by living and working on the moon. Other nations, we've been there. And the next great destination of Mars, we will learn how to conserve and recycle. In the end, our expansion into space promises a revitalization of humanity and a rebirth of hope, no less profound than the great opening out of mind and spirit at the dawn of the modern age. In the same way that seafaring enlightened 16th century Europe, spacefaring will bring not only rich new veins of empirical knowledge, but will bind together nations, inspire youth, and advance science, and ultimately end our confinement to one vulnerable world. But this dream can only be accomplished by global cooperation, not each nation going it alone as we did in Apollo, but cooperative, each nation contributing its unique expertise, as we did with the International Space Station. That ubiquitous photo that Neil snapped of me on the surface of the moon has become a popular icon, not because the moon itself was some kind of culmination, because it suggests the open-ended future that awaits not only humanity, poised on the threshold of space, but every individual in the morning of this new millennium who is willing to take risks. While we need to continue to improve the planet we live in, lift our eyes up and look into the skies and move forward in an evolutionary way, not trying to solve all things at once, but doing it at a gradual pace of progressive and evolving missions. Just last year, I created a unified space vision that I presented to an audience at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, gathered to celebrate 40 years since Neil and I set foot on the moon. In this vision, I have proposed such a pathway of progressive human missions that build upon each other, starting with the development of the next generations of rockets and spacecraft to take us on commercial space taxis into Earth orbit. From there, we can move deeper into space with longer duration exploration vehicles to intercept comets like Ventanen and Hartley 3 and land on asteroids like Apophis, and then continue on with missions to Phobos, the inner moon of Mars, and ultimately land humans on the red planet itself by the year 2035. It was 66 years from the Wright brothers in 1903 to landing on the moon in 1969. 66 more years is 2035 to land permanent settlers on the planet Mars. We're a species still in childhood, only now becoming aware of a universe turbulent and mysterious beyond anything imagined by our forebears. At the heart of science is the attempt, a grand internal model of reality, to broaden the context of meaning, to find the center by completing the edge. But in that unending quest The treasure is the voyage itself, the unfolding of human awareness. My hope is that you will each find a way to employ that quest in one of its myriad forms. And though all of you may not walk on Mars or become scientists, each of you can become explorers in spirit, opening yourselves to those things that expand